guys, here we are, MMA UK News. Stoomboy, as always, usually the MMA UK BJJ show, but talking about MMA tonight. So I'm here with the queen of MMA UK News, Katie Hunter. And we're going to be chatting with Frazer Hirsch of Results Gym in Forfar. So Frazer,
Hello.
the 25th of March, is going to be stepping into Cage Warriors Academy in Wales again for the second time. Come away with a unanimous victory at the first one. So yeah, he's going to be stepping in again, taking on another tough, big, lanky opponent. So, and I want to extend that record to 8-4. It should be 9. It should have been 8-4 already, but they didn't count the Germany fight for obvious reasons.
I don't think they registered it with Tapology. It would have been more of a kind of kickboxing show, you know. Or
yeah.
But
so
8-4, 7-4. Does it really matter?
But it should be 8-4 now. 7-4. Looking to extend it to 8-4, officially 8-4, on the 25th of March. So
9-4.
9-4. Unofficially 9-4. So Frazer, listen, absolute pleasure. Thanks again for obviously taking the time to speak to me and Katie tonight.
No, yeah, brilliant. Like I say, I love this. I love speaking to you guys. You know, it's always a good crack, and yeah, looking forward to the fight.
Yeah.
Been a bit tough, the weight cut's been, I've been trying to get the weight down. Obviously, I was away for 4 and a half weeks, the other side of the world, sunning it up, drinking beers every day. So yeah, it has been tough to trying to get back into it, Christmas and then being away, trying to get back into it. But in the gym twice a day, training hard, sparring hard, the guys it's good. Arn and Jim are fighting as well on the same card, so we're there. And then all the kickboxing guys from the gym, there's a few guys out next week and that, and so they've all been up for the sparring. And there's been a real good buzz about the gym lately. Has been a real good buzz with everybody fighting and fights coming up and stuff like that. So yeah, and a few more guys are starting to compete in the grappling competitions as well. So no, it's been good, but I'll be on weight standard, doesn't it?
What was it like stepping onto the scale when you got back from holiday?
I was actually scared. I'm like, fuck. I just knew, you know what I mean? You just know it's like fucking hell. Because
was it as bad as you thought?
Yeah, kinda, yeah. I'm not even going to say what it was, I had to go to the scrappies to get weighed, you know what I mean? My phone number came up on the scales, 07.
Oh, I know that feeling.
So it's like, but just put the work in, tighten the diet up, up the water, up the protein, train like fuck. If there's an extra fucking bit in the sauna or an extra bit in the hot tub, we'll be there, we'll get there, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the thing. I mean, you're always professional when it comes to weight anyway. I mean,
Oh, yeah, like, always have to be on weight, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You've agreed it, so you've just not got a choice,
And these are same day weigh-ins, aren't they?
Yeah. So we've still got 3 weeks, so I'm nearly there.
Nearly there.
Maybe.
How tough is it, Frazer, obviously going through a weight cut? Because obviously we speak to MMA fighters all the time, and that's always the one big thing, the one that's probably more mentally taxing than the actual training itself. So how's the weight cut normally for you, not just physically but mentally as well?
I didn't think about it. I just fucking do it. Like the more you think about it, the more. Well, for me personally, it's one of those ones. It's like you've not got a choice. You've got to be that weight. How do you get that weight? Get that sauna suit on. Get on the bike and just think about it. Carl, my strength and conditioning coach normally comes with us, and you just need to do it. And it's like, boom, I've got a bit of support there when I'm doing it, and it's just then I think about it. It is tough, it is, but the more you think about it, the more you don't want to do it. And then it's like it's just that's the way I find it. It's like one of those ones. Then I think about it, get it done, and then but see that feeling when you fucking you get to that weight, you're like, yes. It's just fucking. It's like it's you've got that goal. So once you get there, it's a great feeling, great achievement, you know.
Well, a lot of people do call it the fight before the fight, don't they? And
Yeah,
like when you get
yeah.
there, it's like you've won something. It's definitely like you've achieved something.
Oh yeah, 100%. You know, but then I find it's, you know, as I'm getting older, it gets fucking harder as well. You
Yeah.
know, it does get harder, but it needs to be done. Needs to be done. You know, I'm not going to cry about it or moan about it. Just get it done.
How important is it to have a strength and conditioning coach as part of the team? Do you know what I mean? Because a lot of people, you know this yourself, a lot of guys come up through the amateurs and they try and do it themselves, or there'll maybe be like a couple of people in the gym that'll be helping out. But whereas if you've got a proper strength and conditioning program, it must be make it a lot easier.
But then I know some of the fights I've had, I've not been better than the guys. I've not been better than them technically. I've probably been worse sometimes than a few of them, but I've been, you know, that fucking having that strength and conditioning coach, you know, it just, you know, beat them on fitness a couple of times, or just having that, well, you know, where you're doing, it's like, right, finish off with 50 burpees. You know, it's not the burpees that's a killer, it's more mental. You know, it's like, it's the mental side that, so it's, you know, when you're in there, it's like, right, you've got a fucking minute left, you need to just, you're won the fight, you know, you're winning the fight, you just need to, you know, maybe the guys starting to get the better of you. It's like you've just got to grind it out, you know. But just having somebody there to, you know, and you know, the fitness and having your fitness up is it makes so much difference. I think so. You know, having you know, it's one of my good pals there, so it's good having that there. But
a lot of people do say about like you said about sometimes you've beaten people who've been technically better. Like you can't do anything about that on the day. That's happened over years or whatever. But you can be the fittest person in the room. You can be the hardest worker in the room. Like those are things within your control.
Oh yeah, you know, just go and put the work in. You know, having some rather, you know, and being fight specific kind of stuff that you do. You know, it's another weapon in your arsenal. You know, it's another tool in the toolbox. Definitely, where you see guys gassing out in the first round or the second round. You know, it's like maybe if you had, you know, followed a strength and conditioning program, or you know, had somebody there to push you just that extra bit, you could have done a wee bit better. You know. So it's definitely you see all the pro guys have got them now. You know, they've all got a strength and conditioning coach. You know. Also, I've got my other pal Lee. He's there all the time as well. You know, he comes along in the morning and does it. Well, no, he's not been this time because obviously I was away, and then he's away getting he's needing a new hip. You know what I mean? So he's away getting his hip done. So he's good for this one.
Yeah.
You know, so he's. But then I think once he comes back, well, he's back Tuesday, so I don't want to say too much on here. I'm gonna wind him up when he gets back. That's what I'm going to say.
Is that him straight out the hospital?
Yeah. So no, well, but then he needs to keep moving it and keep working it. You know, keep it going. So, but I'm sure he'll want to come along. You know, anyway. But yeah, even having a training partner as well makes it so much easier, because it's like, you know, you can push yourself even more. It's like, fucking hell, he's beating, you know, this 50-year-old guy's doing more fucking press ups than me. It's like, I need to, you know, keep going. And it's good, you know, it's good.
Definitely.
And you feel great after it. So, you know, I go first thing in the morning and do it before my work, and you just feel, some mornings it's a slog getting up, but you know, the alarm goes off at 5:15. It's like, fuck.
That's another thing you've just got to not think about. The alarm goes off, you just do it. Like there is no decision to be made. There is no choice to stay in bed.
There was a video going about, I don't know who it was. I don't know if you've seen it, like on the Facebook and all that. There was a guy just saying, just don't think about it. I don't care about your feelings. Just fucking get up. You know, don't snooze the alarm, get up and go to your work, you know, get to the gym, do whatever you need to do. Don't think about it. And that's just what you've got to do. Because when you start thinking about it, it's like the weight cut. Then you start talking yourself out of it. Oh, I can't be bothered. Oh, I've got sore this. It's just like, go. And then once you get there, you know, you do it. And afterwards, you're like, oh, that's brilliant. Feel great.
Yeah.
And you're ready for the day. You know, it can be fucking horrible and sore, some of the stuff you do, but once you've done it, it's good. And then those days that you maybe have missed it, that you didn't go, or you actually feel shit and you feel guilty, you're like, oh,
the
fuck,
guilt is worse than the pain of going.
like, oh, I should have went.
I like that extra 20-minute snooze in my bed.
Oh,
Do you know what I
yeah,
mean? As soon as the alarm goes, you're like, right, I'll give it another
But
5.
then
I'll give
I
it
put,
another 5.
I put it in my head. I'm like, my opponent's not up at this time, fucking in here doing this. You know, like, you kind of put that in the head and
Yeah.
just play. You know, you can achieve a lot of things if you don't think about it. Just fucking get on with it. Just put the work in.
Speaking of one of your training partners, the
Oh, here it
Madman
goes.
Patty,
Here
right?
he
Just saying
comes.
he totally forgot about this. What's happening?
Yeah.
RGFT. So,
Yeah.
so obviously Patty's going to be on the show as well. And again, I mean,
Yeah,
you guys have been on the same show.
Oh, a few times, good few times,
Yeah,
yeah.
good few
Or
times
me and
now.
Aaron,
So,
or me and Patty, or Aaron and Patty, yeah.
yeah.
So no, yeah,
Must
we
be great.
said he was
Again,
yeah, Patty, Jim says he was going to be winding us up, you know, hitting us with all these comments and that, and then he forgets about it, you know. Fuck's sake, Jim.
well, he's only put one comment, so he's not doing much winding up. So
I know.
maybe he's saving that because Katie, we did an interview with Patty. I don't know if you remember this, but he started slagging off. Well, it wasn't even he was slagging off, but he started talking about the eye muffs,
Yeah.
saying, it's no real MMA. They wear headgear and shin guards and stuff like that, and it all kicked off down
They
south.
were going mental.
Yeah, and they were going absolutely nuts. Yeah, I think it was Mitch Good. There was a couple other people as well who had come through the eye muffs, and they were like, and it was the guy he was fighting. I can't remember who the guy was, but the guy
it was the last Cage Warriors guy.
Yeah.
The
guy had came through the eye muffs. He'd done the eye muffs, and I remember saying to Patty, the guy's obviously been in the eye muffs and stuff like that, so obviously he must be of a good level. And Patty's like, I don't rate the eye muffs at all.
That's right. They wear shin pads, fucking.
So by the time he got down to Wales, they were all waiting for him because obviously there's a big Welsh contingent to go to the IMAF. So yeah, they weren't happy with him at all. So maybe he's saving that till I speak to him at some point. Do you know what I mean? So but yeah, we'll try and tone Patty down the next time I talk to him.
Don't do that.
So he doesn't cause any more international incidents. So
you need to get him on. You'll need to get him on for an interview as well. Aaron on as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh no, definitely. There you go. Look, it said that just as I said, he'd given one comment. Here he comes. So he said, "Sorry, he was doing the dishes. How's the weight cut, Frazer?"
We've already talked about that, Jim.
Talked about the weight cut already. So
if you'd have tuned in on time, then you would know, Patty.
Yeah.
And then he just said the guy he fought was Jordan Little. Jordan Little. So just said he was a good guy. So Jordan, if you're watching, yeah, you're a good guy.
That was a good fight as well. It was a good fight. But ask Jim when you interview him how his weight cut is going to be going, because he's got about the same amount of kilos of I've got to lose as well.
And he wasn't in Australia for 4 weeks.
No, he was just eating all the pies, you know what
I mean? Brilliant. What about this then? How did you get the call up for this one? How did you know? How did you find out you were going to be?
I think George was on about it. George had says the Cage Warriors and that, and I was like, just stick my name down. But I think they were talking, the boy wanted to rematch me, the last guy. I think that George said something about that. I says, not really interested, to be honest. Wasn't a close fight or nothing, you know what I mean? Yeah. We didn't finish him or whatever, but it was a good fight, you know what I mean? I won fair and square, and it was like, nah, I'm not interested. He says, keep my name in if somebody else comes up. And George just says, you've got fighting so-and-so. He says, I've already said yes. I says, fine. I was like, fine. And then Aaron got a match and Jim got a match. So
yeah.
We're all going down and that. So it was good. There was a great promotion last time. Really well run. Unbelievably well run. Everything was on time. Because I can't remember if we talked about it the last time, when we're looking at the fights and we're like, fuck, we're going to be here till about 11 o'clock, half 11 at night. And we're Aaron being the last fight. And then we're out there for 9:30. It was like, fucking hell. Once they came out the cage, the next guys were starting, they were walking. They were just, you know, it just ran so well. So it was really good to be a really well-run show, you know, in that sense, where everything ran on time. There was no fucking around. You know, once one fight's finished, the next one's straight on. So
that's what Cage Warriors Academy Southeast is like as well. There's quite often 35 fights on the card. So if it didn't run like clockwork, it can it can easily
would
like
run over.
overrun for hours. But the runners are just so on it. They've constantly got the next fighters and the next fighters, and it is as soon as somebody's out, the next fight's in. And when you watch the production back, though, it looks incredible. It doesn't look like it was kind of conveyor belt.
Yeah. No, so it was so good. So I think Shore MMA again. I think the last guy was Shore. So see, so another top gym. You know, one of the good gyms in the country. So, and then I think the guys. I'm not really. I've seen one of his fights, but I've not really done much research on him. But it's going to be good. But I know he's a fucking tall fucker. Another big tall fucker. But I'm used to dealing with him. Tall and lanky. I think he's young. He's about 20. I think he's about 20-odd-year-old. You know, standard.
So what style did you take from what you did watch? Is he a striker?
I think he's more a grappler.
Right.
But then, you know, he's a sure MMA guy, so he'll be a good wrestler, he'll be a good grappler, he'll be well-rounded, you know.
Yeah.
I know that. So, you know, expect unexpected, and just get in there and do my thing, you know.
Yeah. This could be like Sean Clancy when he beat, what's his face? He beat the Reykjavik MMA guys, and he sent another one over, and another one over, and another one. So this is you. This is the second Shore MMA guy then. Right?
So
you go to beat this guy, then they'll send another one and another one. So
bring it fucking on then. If we beat them, we might need to put two of them in the cage at the same time with us, yeah.
Was there going to be a you and Patty? Just Patty's obviously said there. He'll never be toned down. He does what he wants.
Like that.
And
got to agree with that one.
He said he's away out running. Can't wait for the show. Team is buzzing at the moment. Speak soon. So, So Patty's away out for a jog at the moment. Just as you said about him having about as much weight to lose as you.
Yeah, I think you put a little bit of fear in his head there. He's suddenly gone
He's away out running. He's away for a jog, you know what I mean?
You run those pounds off.
As long as he's not jogging at the kebab shop, he'll be all right, yeah.
Nah, Patty's the same. Patty will be on weight.
He'll be on weight as well, eh? But it's quite funny this time. We were just saying in the gym, because it's not like Aaron that struggles with his weight. He always makes weight, but he's always like really not crazy over, but he's always like, oh, fucking 5 kilos over, and like, fucking hell, I'm really going to lose that from, you know, you're skinny wee guy, you know what I mean? He's always really lean in that, and this camp has been like, Aaron's like, he's nearly there, eh? It's like, fucking wee dick.
Because I remember the last time we spoke, because obviously he stepped in at a moment's notice.
Last minute, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So again, he had a good few kilos to lose at that point. So
yeah, they were Jean were in and out the bath and fucking this and that, and you know, the night before and everything, So
that's good. That's good.
Yeah, it's good. He's like on near enough there, he says, So it's like, just has to be done.
Nah, it's going to be good. How good is it for a gym in Forfar? Do you know what I mean? Because again, we've spoken about this loads of times. I mean, obviously you've got gyms in Glasgow, gyms in Edinburgh, big cities, but having a wee town like Forfar, and then you guys going out and representing like Cage Warriors, represent the gym at Cage Warriors Academy. So
yeah, well, I don't know if you've seen it. I think I messaged you about it actually. The Fight Hunter guy. Did you see the rankings and the thing? I think overall with the ones he did, like Forfar comes in third. Well, it's joint third with a couple other gyms, but like the two gyms above it is like higher level next squad. Then it's like Results, Goliath, and somebody else. It's like, but then there's only 3 of us.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? They're like, these other gyms, you know, you get some point scoring system, and it's just like not bad for a wee gym in the fucking, you know, the northeast of Scotland, eh?
Yeah, but like, you guys were out fighting all last year. Do you know what I mean? So,
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You had some guys out there, amateur fighters, that were only 1 and 2 fights in for the whole year, whereas you guys were out. What did Patty? I think Patty had 5 fights. 6 fights. So, and you, I think, what did you end up having? What,
3? Should have been 4. I got the thing, me. There was supposed to have one in the February. Tom pulled out and whatnot.
Yeah.
But we were out from when did I fight? June or whenever it was. I had 3 fights, and then again I took the Cage Warriors one like 2 weeks notice or something.
Yeah.
When I'd been training and all that, you know. So No, it's good. It is good, and it's just, it's a numbers game. If there was, another 10 guys like myself or like Jim or Aaron on the mats every night, fucking hell, we'd be killers, man. Well, we are killers, but we'd be, we used to be even, it's a numbers game when down in the Central Belt, there's, so many, a million people in Glasgow or something, of course. 15 Patty just mentioned.
Wow.
15 fights
15
between
fights between 15. And he's also saying you guys are joint second, not third.
Oh, so joint second then.
Joint second,
wow.
So, and
What,
again,
that's
that's 3 guys, and that's because obviously higher level was number 1. Then number 2 would have been like Hit Squad, you guys. So again, you're on a par with the Hit Squad. Do you know what I mean, in regards to the point system, how many points, how many wins, and so on that you guys had. So, which is good. Sorry, Katie, this is an Instagram page that went up just only a couple of weeks ago, and it's to do with Scottish MMA. I don't know who set it up.
I don't know who it is, but I don't know if they're listening. They know me. They know because I was like, right, so who are you? Or we're not getting to know. Is it a mystery? It's like, it's a mystery because I'm affiliated to a gym. I didn't want to seem biased. No, I was like, okay, fair enough. It was like, oh, but I've shared the map with you. So it's like, right, who's so if we're competing? So it's somebody we know. You obviously probably knows you as well, Stim, and that, So
but this was what they did was they done a ranking system. So what they did was they took the rankings from Topology and put up, because obviously Topology have got like the top 10 of Scottish MMA fighters, and what they did is they did their own one, right? So based on obviously a point system, so how many points you get for a win. I think was it like 5 points for a win and 3
so whatever it was, it was
and to be fair, the rankings weren't too far off, because obviously you'd message me and say, did you see this? And I looked at it and I was like, apart from a couple of changes, right? They weren't far off. So
they were pretty fair. Yeah, they were. Maybe you changed a couple of guys round the different ways or whatever, from third to fourth or fourth to, or whatever. But no, they were quite accurate,
It's hard on a point system to take into account people who are having tougher fights.
Because I think sometimes like Topology, if you could go 4-0 and you're way up there in the rankings, and then
you could be fighting cans, somebody else is fighting like the toughest people around them from 2 and 2, and they look like they're lower down.
So it's like they can mean, but then there you go, the UFC last night, which we'll probably go on to, 6 beat the champion, number 6 beat the champion. So it's, do they mean anything? They do, they didn't,
I can say that as the second place Scottish Hit Squad, Grip House, Results Gym, and Goliath MMA, all on 15 points. Do you know what I mean? So, and then Frazer was ranked, where are you? Number 2, I believe. And the Patty was, what was Patty? Patty was 6.
He was ranked in both of them, I think, welterweight and middleweight.
Yeah. But Frazer, you were
second. That was Clancy Jr. that was above us. He doesn't really fight at middleweight, you know what I mean? What
did he have? He had one fight, 2 fights at middleweight last year. So most of it was welterweight.
Well, I'll just hate to fight him then and find out who's the best.
Yeah. Listen, you want his teammate first, mate. You want his teammate first. Big Kamal. So obviously that's still there. Obviously, if on top, we'll find out what's happening on top in due course. So
has anything materialised since we last spoke about that?
No, because on top hasn't been it's not happened. It's kind of weird.
Have they got a date announced or anything?
They did have. They had. Was it 25th? Or was it going to be? Was it last month or this month? They were going to have a show, and they were trying to get. Was it Sean Clancy matched up? And it never happened. So, so they ended up pulling the card, and then. So yeah, I don't know what's happening.
A couple of cards. It's a shame they pulled a couple of cards because before COVID, they were running 4 shows a year. It was buzzing. You went into the place and you couldn't move. The amount of fans, people there watching and that, and it's just kind of died a death, which is a real shame because it was a a great event, and it brought, they brought out a lot of good fighters, and
Yeah.
Shame. It's a
I don't
shame.
know whether it's like cost of living for everyone, isn't it? I don't know whether like
Well,
maybe the rent of venues has gone up with all the electric
Yeah.
that gets used and stuff like that. I don't
but
know.
then there is other shows, still about, so it's a shame. So James Lake, Tam Collins, if you're listening, finally getting on top, back up and running.
And saying that, we got Goliath, man. Goliath obviously put on a couple of good shows already. Goliath MMA, so obviously a Scottish-based show between Steve Harris and Chris Duncan.
Yeah.
So, and that seems to be doing well, doing really, really well. First two shows have been good. They're going to be doing a grappling show this year. Or they're going to incorporate grappling and stuff like similar to what Evolution of Combat did, where they would have like kickboxing, MMA, grappling, and then they want to do
like the one next week. Boodoo's been on a few times. Boodoo, Barry, because they're doing that. We've got kickboxing guys fighting next week, and there's MMA on that, and there's
grappling as well.
There's a grappling tournament as well, because there was training be Paddy the Body, what's his name?
Rowan, Patrick Rowan,
this morning, and he's competing on that. So
yeah. 500 quid up for grabs. Do you know what I mean? So they're doing cash prizes now. So I think one show, SGI is doing a £250 for the winner. Budo's doing a £500 for the winner, and Forza stepped in just the other day and put up that 8-man tournament. It's £1,000 for the winner. Right, so
you've got to pay 50 quid to enter, have you?
50 quid to enter, but walk away with £1,000. But and did you see the 8 people?
Yeah, the big Mark McQueen was the big boy Giovanni in it as well.
Big Gio's in it. So Big Gio is Katie's about 127 kilos of just muscle. Right? I mean, this guy is he did a fight at the EMAs last year, and it got called after 14 seconds. Illegal.
You need the boy in the balls.
Yeah, it was accidental. Need the boy in the balls. The guy didn't want to continue. And the fight was over 14 seconds, and then he's got another MMA fight coming up shortly. In fact, is it this month? No, next month. Is it? I can't even remember who it is, but it's the same card that Stephen Clancy, one of the Clancy boys, is going to be on. So, and that's going to be happening. I'm sure it is next month, around about the middle of April. So you'll see this guy, Katie. You'll see this guy.
He's a huge man.
Oh man, he is an ultra heavyweight. And he moves quick.
He's not like a big, he's a muscly guy. You know what I mean? He's huge. Yeah. He's like,
give you an idea. He's
not just got a big gut. You know what I mean? He's like
yeah, man. He's absolutely ripped to shreds. And he fought. He's only a white belt in jiu-jitsu, and he beat Ross Houston and Jamie McDonald in a grappling match. Same day. Do you know what I mean? So that just again shows you. I mean, we know how good Ross Houston is, and Jamie McDonald is a fucking animal. Do you know what I mean? So
I've rolled with Jamie, but I can't how he's good. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Jamie's absolutely awesome.
Then is he?
Nah. So and then obviously the controversy of the Euros. He goes over to the Euros as a white belt.
I thought you couldn't. I thought you couldn't compete at jiu-jitsu as a white belt if you've had an MMA fight.
The rule was if you had a pro MMA fight, then you couldn't do it, right? So that was always the rule, right? So nobody even thought about what about an amateur, especially a fight that went 14 seconds. So he goes all the way over to Paris, fights in the Euros, gets all the way to the final, beats the guy, smashed everybody. And then the guy that he beat in the final went to the referee and said, hold on a minute, he's had an amateur MMA fight. So then they disqualified him. And then apparently the rule changed 5 years ago. But it was always a pro MMA fighter, right? So, but the rule changed.
It was any MMA fight. Yeah, I have heard of that happening before.
Yeah, so that 14 seconds absolutely killed him. But he
sounds like he's not a white belt anyway, though.
Nah. But then again,
anyway,
it's a crazy 8-man tournament. It's Who have we got? We've got Mark
Mark
McQueen.
McQueen, Lewis Penny. Lewis Penny.
Yeah. Lewis
tiny,
Penny.
Brilliant grappler, but he's fucking tiny.
Oh, he's small. Yeah, I think Lewis is about 70 kilos. And then you've got Ronan Foley. Yeah, good judoka. You have.
I don't know who else was in there. Can't mind.
There was another MMA fighter in there as well. Davey, somebody. So eight guys. Jay Sharp's in there. So
young Jay, yeah.
But it's a terrifying. But see when you see Gio and Mark McQueen, like Jack Brown said it. He said you've just paid 50 quid to get absolutely rinsed by Mark McQueen. So Mark McQueen can get £1,000. But listen, it'll be a good event.
Definitely.
I said even though these guys are small guys, if they jump on a leg and get a leg, I don't care how big you are. If somebody gets you in a heel hook or footlock or whatever, it's over. Do you know what I mean? You can have the biggest legs in the world, man, but yeah, you're not going to stop a good heel hook. Do you know what I mean? So.
Well, Lewis Penny to heel hook the two big guys. That's who my money's on.
I put the picture up as well because obviously the pictures on the thing. You've got Lewis Penny and Mark McQueen wearing the same rash guard, right? So I'd got the picture of the two of them side by side, and I said it's like, like the Hulk before he turned into the Hulk. Do you know what I mean? So you've got this wee small guy, and then you've got the Hulk. But it was it's all in good fun. I'd say they were absolutely loving it. So, but it'll be good. It'll be good. There's James Patty just saying Lewis Penny for the win. So, but nah, fair play to all the boys. I don't think they knew Mark McQueen was going to be in it until after they'd entered, and then suddenly Mark McQueen's name got fucking thrown in. So.
No refunds, was it?
No refunds at all. No refunds at all. So that was me just watching that Shevchenko fight there. So that's it finished. Yeah, I saw that spinning kick. Yeah, it's all over her now. All over her back. That was a mistake, that spinning kick.
She threw a couple for, didn't she, in the fight?
Yeah. I don't know what she's doing there, man.
I think, do you know what? She's just been so dominant for so long and so many levels above everyone that she's had the ability to be a little bit sloppy or, and get away with it because she's that good. And then last night, somebody has capitalized on that. And like Guaso said afterwards, they've seen her do that in all the footage that they've watched, and they've just been working that in the gym and drilling that over and over and over. And when you're the champ and you're the champ for that long, you think how many minutes she's gone undefeated. Like she's pretty much she's won so many rounds as well in that time. Like she has to keep finding the motivation to go out and do it. Like they've all got their eyes on the prize, and they've all been figuring out the answer to the Shevchenko problem. She's got a new opponent every time, but all eyes in the division are always on her. Like at some point, Glenn Williams, shout out to Glenn. He always says there's always an upset on a big MMA card. There's always one big upset, and it's I never saw Amanda getting beaten by Juliana Pena, and she'll get it back. She'll get it back, but like to be champ for that long, to concentrate for every second of every minute of every fight she's been in as champ, like there was going to come a time where she didn't, and somebody capitalized on it, and I think that was just the night.
Yeah,
I can remind you of Anderson Silva as well. Look how long he went on, and then he was just. I don't think he was enjoying it. Do you know what I mean? Because remember, there were some fights where he was like, "Is this the best you've got, really?" Do you know what I mean? And he was still running through people, and then obviously once he got to the Weidman fight, he was just messing about, and he got caught.
Yeah. But what about when Weidman threw that wheel kick that lost him the belt against Rockhold? Like they are. You've got when you throw them, you've got to know that you're getting that bang on. They're just such a, I don't know.
Yeah.
Madness.
Oh.
But there is, like you said, they're like, fuck, another fight. I'm going to beat them. They've been the champ for that long, It must be difficult to motivate yourself, because before you become the champ, you want to be the champ,
Yeah.
you know. Then you get there, then you want to defend it. Like you say, she's defended it that many times. She switched off. There was another takedown in that fight where she really telegraphed it as well.
Really sloppy telegraph.
And it was like,
takedown. Yeah.
And it's like, maybe if she hadn't been champ for that long, it wouldn't have, she would have been a wee bit more sharper. I'm not saying she wasn't sharp, it was a great fight.
And she was still winning, right? Up until she got caught. She was still winning. That's why I think it must be so hard for her to be like, she is one of the most disciplined, hard-working champions we've ever had. But like, for her to stay motivated and committed, even on a bad day, she's wiping the floor with these girls. She came close in her last fight to getting beaten. And I thought maybe that would be like a
wake-up call,
a little bit, but like she still managed to do it, and I think she must just think like, even on her worst day, she's been better than everyone up until now. So like, now she's got something to aim for, because she's going to want that belt back.
So the next fight should be, just what happens
domination, pure domination.
So what happens then? Is it a straight rematch, or does
it's got to be, I think,
want to fight her, or?
After that long, after being that dominant, and even after like winning every bit of the fight up until then, I think it would be an absolute travesty if she didn't get an immediate outcry. You're giving one to Adesanya, you're giving one to a lot of less deserving people as well than that. Like Joanna, like, I'm not saying Joanna didn't deserve it, because she'd been champ for all that time, but like the way that Rose knocked her out was like totally different to getting caught like this in the fourth round when you've been dominating the fight.
Nah, I think she will. I think it'll be an automatic rematch. They've obviously not mentioned anything yet, right? But I can imagine they'll have to run that back, which will be good to see. It'll be good to see. As you said, she's going to come out very, very dominant, and then I think she will get it back. But do you know what I mean? It's always worrying. I mean, especially when you've been champ, because she was champ just over 4 years, 8 title defenses. Obviously she won it, 8 title defenses, and then lost it on the 9th one. So
I don't know how old she is. Do you?
34, I believe. So
she's been in a lot of fights. She's been in a lot of the women's fights, like, or she's had quite a few finishes, but they tend to go the distance. Like, I don't know. Like, I've been thinking for the last couple of fights, like, where does she keep getting the motivation from? And maybe she wins her belt back, and that's enough. Like, I don't know if, like, people talk about the Amanda fight, but she lost the Amanda fight barely when they were kind of same weight class. Now Amanda's fought at 145, and she's been fighting at 125 for ages. That's going to take her a long time to make up that size difference.
Yeah, it's a big difference. It's not just, what is that, a couple of weight categories?
But her birthday's in 2 days' time. She's 35 in 2 days' time. So 35 on the 7th of March. She's still got a good Shevchenko. Still got a good few years to go.
Oh, still definitely.
So
what did you think of the main event then?
Can't call it that, can you?
Well, yeah. I was kind of gutted because I watched. I was at UFC Paris, and that was some fight by Cyril Gane and the big Tai Tuivasa. Wow, what a fight! And they were throwing bombs, and they both dropped each other, and it was so good. And then it's like, I didn't think Cyril Gane landed a punch last night. And it was like, fuck's sake.
I don't think any of them landed a punch, really. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, see, when I was watching it, and then I was expecting more. I was expecting John Jones to come out and just be absolutely dominant on the feet. But it never happened. Never happened at all. So
it's a shame we didn't get to see Ngannou. Like, I do think that's a shame.
And so what do you reckon? Ngannou beats John Jones, does he?
No, I don't think so, but we'll never know now. Maybe it's better we never know. But when I did think going into this fight last night, no disrespect to Garn, but if Ngannou was too well-rounded for him, then I suspected that John Jones might be.
Yeah.
If Ngannou's wrestling's too much for you, I felt like the only thing, and people are everybody wants to read into these things, like with John being in the pool in all the embedded shows, like everyone's like, has he got an injury? Can he not, maybe he's injured going into it, and now we still don't know because the fight only lasted a minute or whatever it was. But
Nah, I don't know. Even the finish, right? See, when I looked at the finish, now I've watched it a few times.
It didn't even look that tight. Like it,
Nah,
it
nah.
didn't, like.
Nah. See, I don't know. I don't think he tapped to the guillotine, right? I think what he's done is he's obviously the pressure he's been putting on his head. He's been pushing his head down, and as you put that amount of pressure on the head, then I don't know what it's not like a neck crank. I don't even know what you would call it. Like a bulldog, not like a bulldog choke where you do a bulldog choke similar to that, but obviously it's sitting in because he was pretty much backed up against the fence. He's pushing his head down, so it's got to have been a very, very uncomfortable position. But it wasn't a guillotine because it was too loose to be a guillotine. And you couldn't see his other hand. I don't know what he was doing with his other hand. You saw the choke arm, right? But I don't know if he had his hands connected or exactly what he was doing with the other hand. But to me, it wasn't a guillotine. It definitely wasn't.
That's as well why I think it was a little bit anticlimactic, because you couldn't actually see what was properly going on. You couldn't even tell that it could, like you say, it didn't look tight as it must have been. And so it really did feel like, what?
Yeah.
Do you know, I mean, you expect more, especially from a champion, right? Because
imagine
they're supposed to go out on their shield, are they? They're supposed to. I mean, these are the best in the division, and if that was the best in the division, based on last night, it's not very good. Do you know what I mean?
But could it be
I
even
think
worse?
that Tom Aspinall is going to have, I think, be the best or bring the hardest fight to John Jones, and I hope it's not rushed. I don't want it to be straight away.
Yeah.
But I really do think he's the most well-rounded heavyweight, and he really could give him a really hard time in the future. I hope it's not the next few fights, but I think they're going to run out of people for him, aren't they?
Well, listen, Jones, did you see the thing? He wants a fight with Brock Lesnar, right? Obviously, he was talking about, but now Brock Lesnar, right?
Two juice heads just fighting it out in the cage.
Yeah, but Brock Lesnar's a different type of animal. Do you know what I mean? He's a different type of animal. I loved Brock Lesnar when he was in. I loved just everything.
Do you know that was just so back in the day when like a heavyweight just had to be big, and like don't get me wrong, I've loved some of his fights, but as soon as people with real, I don't mean to be disrespectful to him, but like the skill level has kind of gone like that since he's exited.
100%. Like, the skill level has, it's just evolved, hasn't it? People got better, how they beat him, at the time it was great. They were great at the time, but things just moved on,
Yeah. So Miocic is next, right, for Jones. I just think he's been out a long time and he's a bit older, and
I think Jones beats him easily.
So do I.
Yeah.
But then for me, Jones is a great fighter, but I just think he just can't be a goat because he's a cheating bastard.
I agree with you 100%.
I just don't agree with it. There is a few of them in there that have cheated, and maybe there's more that's done it and not been caught, but it's just like to me, you're great, you're good, amazing, but you're a cheating bastard. End of story.
I totally agree. That's why Anderson Silva's not my go either. It's GSP all day.
Yeah.
Now there's going to be a few. I mean, we talked about this guy. What was the guy's name?
The Kazakhstan. Is he a Kazakhstan?
Yeah, man. He's 17-0 just now. He's beat everybody, right?
That was a bulldog choke, right, Stu? They called it a standing rear naked, but it didn't look like one to me.
I mean, Yeah, because it was a crazy finish. But I think what did he have him like a kind of side
It was
headlock,
on the side, wasn't
and
he?
then
Yeah.
as soon as he put that foot in, as soon as he lifted his leg over the top to stop him from coming through, it was over. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but
Even
I don't know.
beforehand, he was peppering the shit out of him. You know,
Yeah.
the hands. Wow.
Yeah,
He's
but yeah,
got 8 KOs and 9 submissions. He's never
Right.
gone the distance in a fight. Like, what a talent. What a
yeah.
talent.
Nobody's talking about him for.
Nah. But then
You know
he's
what
one
I
of
mean?
the people they talk about is like the people that make noise. Do you know what I mean? Like
Mm.
Conor
Yeah,
McGregor.
he's
Conor McGregor makes a lot of noise, so they talk about him. Kamzat makes a lot of noise. Let's talk about him. Do you know what I mean? So the people that are making Cejudo was fucking arguing with Sterling in the back, right? They two were trying to fight in the back. They had to get security to separate these two midgets. Do you know what I mean?
He's
So
a fanny, like, you know, again, another good MMA fighter, great wrestler, but he's just a fanny. He's
yeah.
just a fucking wee fanny. It's like, fuck off.
So, but
Talk
they two,
shit. Triple,
aye,
what is it? Triple C. Fuck
aye,
off, you wee
triple C,
prick.
triple C.
Triple
So,
fucking wanker.
and then who's the other guy? Who's the other guy? Fucking Masvidal was beat the shit out of.
Oh, yeah.
Cody.
Ben.
Um,
Covington, aye.
Covington, sorry. And he talks a lot, so everybody talks about him, whereas the guys with talent don't really get spoke about because they're not out there talking
They're
shit.
not
Do you know
talking.
what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Like that Kobe Covington talks the biggest lot of shit going as well. It's like, fuck off, mate.
mate, he's still talking shit. Do you know what I mean? Like, I laugh because he comes up on like Twitter and stuff like that, and everybody just rips the piss out of him, man. Do you know what I mean? Because obviously when Masvidal went and kicked his ass because he was talking shit about Masvidal's family. So obviously, once they met on the street, and Masvidal said that, he said, "Listen, in here's one thing, but if we meet out on the street, man," he said, "it's on." And they met out in the street, and that was it. And the first thing Covington done was ran away and told the police.
Mm.
So got him charged, and he's still to go up for that court case. So and he can get the jail for it. Do you know what I mean? So is that felony?
Didn't Colby run to the police when Verdum threw the boomerang at him as
Yeah,
well? Just flagging off Brazil. Like, that's even more lame.
yeah. Do you know what I mean? I remember that. Yeah, they were fighting. Verdum was trying to get him, and Covington was hiding behind the police, talking shit. Do you know what I mean?
Still talking shit,
Oh, and you're like, mate, you're talking to Verdum, man. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, there's only one thing. They're like, Brazilians, you don't fuck with Brazilians, man. Do you know what I mean? Because
And you certainly don't say anything bad about Brazil.
no. That's where like Chael Sonnen, you remember him and Anderson Silva, they done was it a press conference?
No, it was Vanderlei.
But no, do you know? Remember, like Chael Sonnen when he was talking to Anderson Silva before the Jake Paul fight? It was a Logan Paul fight, or Jake Paul, sorry. And he said Anderson Silva was talking about inviting him to a barbecue, and he says, "What in Brazil?" He's like, "No, they'll kill you in Brazil." So he says in Las Vegas, come to my house in Las Vegas. So, but then obviously Vanderlei Silva as well. I mean, Vanderlei Silva wanted to do some serious damage to him. Do you know what I mean? So, all because he was talking about Brazil. So, but these guys, as I say, these guys are nuts, man. Absolutely nuts. And that's the thing. Like, these are fighters at the end of the day. Yeah, fighting in the cage is one thing, but I mean, you think about like Vanderlei Silva, especially. They used to fight in the changing room before they used to go out and fight in the cage. Yeah. And they would be fighting with each other in their camp. Right? And you would see that they'd be choking each other unconscious, knocking each other out, stuff like that, before they actually got to the cage. So yeah, these are nuts. These people are mad. They're absolutely mad. What about your boy?
Get banged.
Chat shit, get banged. So what about Ian Gary? We've got to talk about Ian Gary.
Yeah. Bit of a scare in the first round.
Yeah.
Seeing him drop like that, I mean, he overcame adversity. You can say that he's done that now. And he certainly put on a masterclass after that. I thought he looked excellent after that, but just Yeah, it was scary. He looked like he was properly caught, didn't he? He looked unsteady on his feet for a fair
Because
bit after that.
there wasn't a long left in the round. I think it was about a minute or so, left in the
Yeah.
round, and so he just had to ride it out. And
Yeah. And I think when he went back to his corner, like he said, he rushed in for whatever shot he was going for. And I guess you've got to respect the other person's power, haven't you? And
Oh yeah,
I think he certainly got his attention with that.
yeah,
he was lucky. You know, like you say, he came through adversity, but it's one of those ones you've got to, you've got to take that wee chance. Just to, to get there to do it. And
Yeah.
he was lucky. He was lucky last night. Good on him. Came back and he won the fight. Like, I felt sorry for his opponent. Did you see the picture of his face afterwards?
Oh Jesus, yeah.
Oh fucking hell! You know what I mean?
That was horrible. Absolutely horrible. That's the fight business. Do you know what I mean? So,
yeah. That's what we enjoy. Yeah, that's what we sign up for.
But it was good to see. It was good to see him out there. And obviously, what's he now? Ian Mikado Gary. So obviously he's added that Mikado in. But yeah, he's seems doing all right. I don't understand though why, because he had like the guy Bo Nickel. Right now, I can understand Bo Nickel has come through like one of the very, very high level wrestlers, right? But
yeah,
he's only 3-0, and that was his first fight in the UFC. It's 4-0.
so yeah, he had 2 fights on Contender Series, like because he had so much build up and hype around him, and everyone's like, he's only been doing MMA for a year and a half.
Yeah.
So after the first Contenders fight, Dana was like, he obviously was incredible, but I need to see another fight to put you in the UFC. It's like becoming a Premiership footballer just because you look good in one Sunday league game. Do you know what I mean? And he's obviously put him up against somebody else decent, and he came through that with flying colours. And then last night, that Jamie Pickett's been around.
Submission, was it head and arm choke?
Yeah.
But then there was a controversy in the Bo Nickel because did he knee him in the bollocks? Do you know what I mean? There was just as they took him down, Bo Nickel took him down. He kind of kneed him, right? And again, the way the camera was, you only seen the back, but you saw on Jamie's face that it looked like he'd been hit there.
Yeah.
But before the referee had a chance to come in, he was taken down and straight in. And he spent forever on his back. He spent forever with that choke. I mean, do you know what I mean?
If he hadn't got it, his arm would have been burnt out. That's what I kept thinking. If he didn't, because at a certain point in time, I would have started to think he's survived. He might not be able to move, but he's surviving. This isn't on.
Yeah.
But I guess he must just know that he always gets it eventually, and he just carried on adjusting.
Yeah.
He got it. So.
Yeah.
But I'm sure I was convinced because obviously like Ian Gary still went on the early prelim. Do you know what I mean? Because obviously there was hype around him as well. There was a lot of hype around him coming from Cage Warriors. Doing what
I think that Bo Nickel though is different level for even I don't really I'm shocked at how much hype he's got.
Yeah.
He's pretty much a household name for anyone who watches any type of MMA in the States, certainly.
Yeah. But even other guys, I mean, you look at guys like Sean O'Malley and stuff like that got a lot of hype as they came in. And what's Ian now? Ian's 10-0, 11-0 now?
11-0, yeah.
So, and yeah, as I say, still fighting on the early prelim card. Do you know what I mean? So
I guess early prelims though to the John Jones pay-per-view, it's probably
yeah, but it's even like London last year. I think he was on the undercard as well. Paul Craig. Now he's a ranked fighter. It's
he's ranked number 9 at the time. Yeah, and
he was ranked. He was a top 10 fighter. And he wasn't. What was it? He was on the prelims. It's come on, eh? How can you rank somebody number 9?
Was he the main event on the prelims, or was he second before the end? So, but yeah, ranked number 9 at the time, and Yeah,
He's
still on
like,
a prelims. So
what the fuck?
Modestus very, very, very politely called him out for London. After he got his win, he was like, "I would love to be on the London card. There's another UK fighter, Paul Craig. I'd love to fight on the London card, but I guess that's not happening. I'd be so delighted with that."
yeah.
It would be good, but
Yeah.
shit, don't know. I thought he should have done. We're going a bit off topic, but it would have been better if Paul had done a bit better. But it's a fight game again, Johnny Walker is good, and he just capitalised on it.
Yeah.
Capitalised on the mistake. He grabbed the leg, and that was that.
Remember,
Yeah.
Paul's still early though into training with higher level. I think he was only about 3 months in. So, I mean, obviously for the next fight, when he goes into his next fight, by that time he'll have had a longer time with higher level. Do you know what I mean? And then so you'll have gelled a little bit better. And do you know what I mean? And so I reckon the next one he'll come out.
I hope so. Hope he does. You know what I mean? It's always good for the Scottish, British MMA.
Yeah.
Definitely.
100%.
What about you then, Fraser? So
me, well, we need to
is this
talk
going to
about
be? Is this going to be your last army fight? What's happening? This is the topic.
Man.
This is what everybody wants to know.
I don't know. See what happens. But then, the pro game's a fucking different game, isn't it? It's like, it's a different kettle of fish for the fact that, it's proper prize fighting, isn't it? It's your professional and fuck, I've not exactly got I'm not exactly an oil paint and getting elbowed and kneed in the fucking head's not going to make it look any better, is it?
Was it seeing Song's face last night? It's just making reconsider.
And then you've got the weird gloves and all that. I don't know. I'm definitely going to have one, Definitely, But it's like
might be nice to get a belt first as well.
Yeah, well, maybe an amateur belt. Yeah, an amateur belt. That would be pretty cool,
Yeah.
The on top belt's coming home. I'll be getting that soon once to the next show. Yeah, it would be pretty cool to get a belt, but I don't know. 39 this year, so there's no long left there. Kind of know there is if there wants to be, but it's like, what do you do? What do you do? When do you make that decision to say, I'll still be training with the guys and, still definitely competing at the grappling. But I'm kind of gutted with the grappling thing because I entered obviously I got the purple belt and entered the Angus grappling comp, but there was nobody in it, nobody in my category. It's like white belt, there's fucking hundreds of people. You get to blue belt, there's a good amount. Purple belt, it's like they just fucked off.
Yeah.
It's like where is everybody?
It's the same people as well, man. I mean, we spoke about this, like Gary Moore, obviously purple belt out there doing his thing. There's yourself, so there's not many masters.
No, but then even there wasn't even any an adult. There's hardly an adult really, an adult category. But then that's what I kind of thought. I just pre-registered because it was 120 quid to do the two categories, gi and no gi, plus the thing man, and it was like, Gary's entered, so it's going to be me and Gary, and it's 2 matches with Gary and then a few matches in the absolute. It's like fucking hell, 120 quid. You just go up to tracks and roll about, So I use funny purple belts, get entered in the competitions.
Yeah. May I've been saying this, man. I mean, I've had this big argument over the last kind of week or so about the kids comps. Do you know what I mean? Because obviously, like we put the kids comp on. First 2 kids comps did brilliant. Maxed out with 3 weeks to go. Then the third one,
nobody showed up.
nobody entered, right? So then we had to pull it and say, well, there's no point in doing it because I don't want people travelling all the way from fucking Inverness down to it was going to be in Trinent, just outside Edinburgh, right? So kids were going to be coming all the way over from Scotland and not getting a fight, and then we put this one on for March the 18th, and 35 kids entered out of 100, right? And you're like, yeah, now we can't run a comp for 35 kids. Do you know what I mean? So and then
it's a shame.
Yeah.
I once went all the way to a tournament, and the one girl in my bracket, she was the same girl for gi and no gi, just didn't turn up.
Yeah.
And lucky it wasn't that far. Like I've gone to tournaments that are a lot further away, But I was just like, what the hell? So I tried to go up the weight class and like tried to go into, I was already an adult, so as you can imagine for women, it's like I should
it's
be
even
marked
worse.
as 400 or whatever it
Yeah.
is now, and there's nobody in any of them
No.
categories. So like, and I was like, oh, I'll do whatever, just squeeze me in, and they couldn't. And I was like, Jesus, if I'd have come a long way, I'd have been livid.
Raging.
I did it Birmingham. I went from Glasgow to Birmingham, turned up. There's maybe me and 2 other guys in the division, and got there, and the 2 guys hadn't turned up. So I did what I was going to do, and I messaged both of them and told them we were shitbags. So I was straight on that message like, you fucking shitbag, man.
Talking about Birmingham and shitbags, where were you on Monday when they came down
So Frazer turned up. Listen, I got the boys to kick his ass though. Do you know what I mean? I was like, Pappy, get him. So it was good. It was good. As he messaged me. Unfortunately, I wasn't there. I was down in Birmingham on a works trip. But I mean, it was good.
Oh, great training. Good. Yeah, I loved that.
Coming Frazer, and he went away for work.
I know. Typical.
Listen, we're going to do obviously me and Grant Cruikshank, we've been talking, and we're going to do there's a big Masters tournament in Hereford, September. So obviously all the old grapplers, male and female. So we're all going to turn up in Hereford. So we're going to do a training camp in Scotland. Once or twice a month, depending on people's availability and stuff like that. So yeah, we're going to get a load of old people in the room. The room will be stinking of deep heat, and do you know what I mean? There'll be fucking finger tape everywhere, and guys hobbling in with knee braces on.
It's shit because when Grant was on about it, I was like, oh yeah, that would be great, and I'm like, oh fuck, I fall into that category with all these old people.
Yeah,
like, I'm no fucking old. What are you talking about?
You're when were you 39?
No, I'm 39 this year.
So you're master 2.
Yeah.
So you're a master 2, mate. Do you know what I mean? So, mate, you're in with the old guys, mate. You're in with the old guys. So, but listen, us old guys can roll, man. Us old guys. Because we've got a point to prove, man. We've still got it. We can still do this. So yeah, it's going to be good, does it? So I'll get that sorted with Grant. Plus, hold on a minute. I came up to Dundee. Let's know. I just remembered this, right? So I says, I'm going to be up in Dundee. Oh, I'm not going to be there, Stuart. Where are you going to be? I'm going to be in Australia. He fucked off to Australia because he knew I was coming up to get him.
Stim's coming up to get me, so I fucked off to Australia.
Took the whole family. The whole family left, went to Australia.
Proper shot it.
But I was going to mess you what? Shite bag. But nah, we'll get as well. Do you know what I mean? I love your style of grappling. Not just grappling, MMA as well. I'd say definitely brilliant to watch. Love watching you. Love seeing you out there. And I've been fortunate enough to see you in both situations, grappling, comps, and MMA. So yeah, listen, we'll have some fun when we do get on the mat.
Definitely,
so we'll definitely have some fun. Give you some of that Stoomboy top pressure, mate.
You've not seen the Frazer top pressure, eh?
Mate, listen, you'll need to get on top first, Frazer. Do you know what I mean? You'll need to get on top first.
That doesn't sound right.
For anybody that's just tuned in, yeah, we are talking about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu here. All right. But no, it's going to be it'll be brilliant when we do catch up. So
definitely. Look forward to that.
Yeah, so 25th of March. That's a Saturday 25th of March.
Night, yeah.
Because Patty had said to me, "Oh, Stoom should come down," but I'm away to a jiu-jitsu comp with my daughter, so she's competing in Wolverhampton on that day, and then we have to rush back for a dance comp. So, but I'll be watching it.
Somebody did ask where they can get the fight, and I saw Frazer on your social media. You put up like how to get the pay-per-view link for people.
I'll put it up. I'll put it on my social media. I'm sure you guys can share it as well. But there's I think it's Fight World TV. Don't quote me on it, but I'll get it up on the social media. And there's a link. The last time the family and that watched it, and a few of my pals, they says it was a great link. They managed to hook it up to get it on the telly, so they had it on the telly in the living room. So it was just like, and it was it wasn't one of those links where it was cutting out and all that. So it was a really good, it was a good link.
Yeah.
So I think it's a tenner, 10 quid.
Bargain.
Yeah, listen, I say this, like, Katie, you say this all the time as well about the academy fights, the academy fighters, the fighters that are coming through are going to be the UFC fighters
Yeah.
of the future.
100%.
Do you know what I mean? Or the Bellator or Cage Warriors and stuff like that. So,
And they need your support now, not when they're a big star.
yeah.
Support them now. Be
Exactly.
able to say that
Exactly.
you were at their amateur fights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why we talk to like the amateurs. We don't just. Katie does it as well. We don't just talk to pros or. Do you know what I mean? We talk to every amateur, even like people that are doing debut fights. Do you know what I mean? Just
It's
chatting
brilliant
away
what
from
you
them.
guys do. It's brilliant.
Being
Actually, I
with
think
them.
it's brilliant. It is
Yeah.
brilliant, you know. And you're not scared to go and talk to the guy that's just having his first fight or the girl or to the big stars, you know. And it's good.
It's normally them that are scared to speak to us. Like,
yeah.
poor person is like already shitting it about having their first fight, and then we're waving a mic in their face, trying to get to talk about how they're feeling.
Oh no, it's even worse when you've got Stoomboy chasing you. You know, you take one step out of the cage after the fight, and he's on you like that lassie was on Shevchenko last night. You know, how are you feeling? Blah, blah, you know, throwing the microphone in your face.
I do that. I stalk the front of the cage where the gate is. As soon as they open the gate, I'm like, right, come with me.
I do that. I follow people to the medical room. You're not getting away from me.
Yeah, but that's the best time. It's the best time to get them. See when adrenaline's pumping, and do you know what I mean? Because that's the time when they're excited. Because they've just won.
When they say stuff they shouldn't say that makes watching.
Yeah. So we get good sound bites from you guys. We get really good sound bites.
Been there, done
that. But yeah, Saturday, 25th of March. So keep an eye out on obviously social media. If you want to have a look at Cage Warriors, I've got their Facebook page as well. So Cage Warriors Academy Wales.
Academy Wales,
yeah.
So obviously have a look on that as well. I'd say that it's got all the fights are listed, who's going to be fighting, when they're going to be fighting and stuff like that. The schedule as well will come out usually the week of the competition. So obviously the week of the 25th of March. So again, keep an eye out for the schedule. In fact, no, I think the schedule's up already. I'm telling a lie.
It will be up, but obviously it'll be subject to change if people get injured, miss weight, blah, blah, blah. You know how it goes.
Yeah, so the schedule is up there, so definitely look out for that. Give their page a like. As I said, it's as Katie said, do you know what I mean? We've got to support the amateurs now, not when they get to the UFC, because do you know what I mean? They need your support now. This is when they're building up their brand and so on. So keep an eye out as well. As if it usually is Fight World TV that's got the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
But again, obviously, that'll be confirmed on the Cage Warriors Academy page as well.
I'll stick the link up on my socials.
Yeah, check out Cage Warriors Academy Southeast as well.
That's coming up on the 15th of April. Is the first one of the year.
When's the next one? When's the next one after that, Katie?
That is a question. I'll send it to you afterwards. I have got the itinerary for that. It's,
we're going to have to take the trip east rather than west.
Maybe that's where you fight for the belt, you know?
Listen, Katie's got contacts. Katie's got contacts.
I'm trying to see if I can find when the next one is. They definitely pulled it out. I'm not...
I think you did send it to me. Let's have a look.
Sorry, this doesn't make for great watching. I should have had it sent to me.
Yeah, I'm going to come down for the next one. Because I've been saying I've been going to come down.
Frazer's on.
Saturday, June the 10th.
June the 10th. Oh, that sounds good. That's enough.
Keep it free.
Saturday, June the 10th. One in October the 7th, and then December the 9th. So yeah, June the 10th. As I said, I'll be coming down for the June the 10th one. So looking forward to getting down, meeting Katie. Obviously,
I've never met Katie either. Virtually met you, but I've never met you in person.
It's amazing meeting people in real life. I love
it. So yeah, we'll get a catch up with Katie. We'll have some fun in that night. We'll have a good laugh. Frazer, you should come down, whether you're fighting or not, man. Just get the missus, take the missus down for the weekend.
You're making me spend more money. I spent it all when I was in Australia.
And your new car.
What did you buy? What kind of car?
We never ended up. She's still looking. Still looking. Doesn't know. That's big enough for this year. Yeah. You know how women go when they're choosing things, eh?
So, listen, new car is incoming. We'll keep you updated with the new car. But Frazer, listen, absolute pleasure as always, brother.
Brilliant. Like I say, brilliant talking to you guys. I enjoy this part of the fight camp as well. You know what I mean? It's like the interview. I'm past that stage where you get nervous and you don't know what to say. We've done that many, and it's a good laugh as well. You know what I mean? So yeah. Buzzing for the fight 3 weeks time, so should be good.
Best
It's going to be fireworks. Yeah, thank you.
Definitely.
Good,
An absolute pleasure. Absolute pleasure. Anybody you want to shout out to before you go?
Just teammates, you know, everybody at Results, Jan Forfar and Arbroath, obviously, Gene, Aaron, County, George, strength and conditioning coach Carl, my training partner Lee, and I've actually had my twin brother along. He's back over from Australia. I've been doing circuits in the gym in the morning. I've been fucking killing him. It's been great. So shout out to him as well. Obviously my wife and the kids, you know, look after me, look after my nonsense that goes through fight camps and weight cuts, and you know, she cooks all my meals and all that. So it's just to them, and yeah, that's about it.
Nice. Well, listen, always a pleasure as always. So, we'll catch up soon. Obviously after the fight, as I said, I'll try and set up the open mat maybe a few weeks after your fight.
I'll be there.
So, and then we'll get some rolls in, some old man rolling, and old women as well. So let's not
forget. Are you allowed to say that these days? It's not old people.
Old people. Pensioner division. So, but yeah, we'll get that sorted. But listen, all the best. 25th of March when it comes, buddy.
Cheers. Thank you.
Best of skill.
Thank you. Cheerio.